After years of watching movie-quality cinematics and pining over memories of past games, BioWare's launched one of the most anticipated MMOs of 2011. Star Wars: The Old Republic comes equipped not only with a huge franchise license, but an even bigger fan base. And being the same developer behind the highly successful Knights of the Old Republic, there's a lot of expectation. BioWare has promised a more story-driven MMO unlike anything before. So does BioWare's plan work out for the best, or do they end up stumbling over their own words?
Master Yuan said to remind you that she says a Jedi needs to learn martial skills and said that I should say you should.
If BioWare has fulfilled one expectation with this game, it's a good story. After choosing Republic or Imperial, you'll pick from one of 4 classes. These range from Jedi Knights to Troopers or Bounty Hunters to Sith Warriors. After customizing the character with a unique look, you are shipped off to your starter planet.
We shall strike fear into the Empire's enemies.
Each class has a unique story to follow. Jedi Knights and Counselors both start out on the same planet, and they'll share some common quests, but they have varying objectives to follow within their own story. Each objective is further supported by the outspoken cast of characters. Everyone, from your own character to companions and even quest givers, are fully voiced. While the sheer mass of voice work is often repeated and sometimes deduced to a Hutt dialect, the overall scope is impressive and breathes life into each character.
How was I supposed to know Imperial Intelligence would start asking where I got my custom land speeders? That's my private property.
The Star Wars license is used pretty well. Familiar sounds of blaster fire and the war cry of sand people are enough to make up for those occasional blurry textures and rougher edges. The ear candy that is the hum of a lightsaber will have you unsheathing your weapon in the hallways just to hear it turn on and off. Notable Star Wars tracks will back your more difficult encounters, and battle animations are fluid, making each fight a joy to watch. MMO veterans will feel comfortable with the setup, as Old Republic doesn't really stray too far from the expected in terms of gameplay. You'll set out on quests in certain areas, gradually level up, and gain new skills and equipment along the way. The standard amenities are all at your faction's fleets. You have a galactic trade auction house, player versus player arenas, and crew skills and crafting trades. Besides the dialogue and morality meter granting light or dark side choices, little else strays far from the template.
Did you think you could kill him and get away with it?
Refresh my memory. I kill many people's fathers.
There are 4 base classes, cloned over with slight alterations for each faction. Considering there are 6 possible skill trees to go down, there are numerous directions you can take your character. Smugglers, for instance, can concentrate on fighting up close, using a stealthy approach to get the upper hand, or picking targets off from afar. Each class contains a DPS and either a tanking or healing tree to follow, but there's no dual talent specialization offered, so you can't switch between multiple trees.
Interesting. Lying or incompetent, no matter.
Your story will eventually grant you a ship that you can use to travel from planet to planet. Your mission will take you to such notable planets as Tatooine, Hoth, and even Korriban. Though the look changes, the general rhythm becomes obvious around level 20, where you see the MMO pattern emerge. It evolves into get quests, do quests, move to new area for new quests, then rinse and repeat. To take a breather from this, you also have the option to engage in space missions. These on-rail segments are only about 5 minutes apiece, and have you taking on fighters and cruisers. It's a nice break, but something far too simplistic and lacks any real depth.
No good way to say this without sounding like bragging.
One of the most noticeable additions to the game are the companions you pick up along the way. These colorful characters will act as a counterpart to your class in battle, assuming any role you need. You can only summon 1 companion at a time, leaving 5 of them to fetch stuff for you, in which they return in the most rude manner possible. A pop-up appears to show their bounty, right in the middle of battle or overriding a menu. It's like a child going, "Hey, I know you're fighting right now, but look what I got!"
It's so hard to be humble, knowing how great I am.
Flashpoints and operations require grouping 4, 8, or 16 members to overcome the in-game material. What starts as a simple spank and tank soon evolves into the MMO basics of assigning roles and talking strategy. The promise of loot and ultimate reward of commendations at the end of each mission is a welcome break from the typical grind, and there are plenty of flashpoints for each level range, including a hard mode option for those seeking the best equipment and biggest challenge.
Lady, consider yourself a former member of the living.
Most areas will also have heroic quests that offer players at a similar level a more difficult task for the particular area they're in, acting as a nice warm-up for the flashpoints. While the overall experience is great, finding a group for these things is anything but. Heroic quests soon require 4 players, and with no real server-to-server link, you're stuck with whoever's on at the time. Often I found myself hunting for players in a chat for 15 minutes, only to abandon the quest and move on.
I name you a full Jedi of our order.
Knights of the Old Republic doesn't stray far from the MMO formula, but the small tweaks and improvements still make it fun. There's enough diversity in the classes to offer a variety of tunes, and enough emphasis on the story to hold the solo player's interest through the grind to the level 50 cap. Sure, you'll run into some bugs along the way.
Jedi aren't normally known for their intimidating appearance.
But plenty of patches are rooting out the biggest ones. With steady improvements since launch and plenty of expansions on the way, any fan of Star Wars can appreciate what BioWare has thrown together. It's nothing innovative in terms of gameplay, but fans of Knights of the Old Republic will feel right at home with a heavy emphasis on an enjoyable single-player experience. Ending this on a cheesy note, the Force is strong with this one.
There is no ignorance, there is knowledge. There is no passion, there is serenity. There is no chaos, there is harmony. There is no death, there is the Force.